With Nelson Mandela.
Probably of all the people I was ever privileged to meet, he was the most remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I so admired what now has become a historical story, that when he walked out of that prison, and I remember people ask him, they said, why don't you hate the people that did this to you? And they said, you gave up 30 years of your life, the very best years of your life by most accounts. And he said, for 30 years I was their prisoner. And if I hate them, then I will be their prisoner for the rest of my life. And that was so emblematic of Nelson Mandela. He truly is a kind man, a good man. I thought it was remarkable when his wife, who he divorced after he came out of prison, she had led not a very good life, and he was defending her. He basically said, look, don't be so hard on Winnie. She was young, she was beautiful, we had children, she had to raise them herself. She had no husband to take care of her, to be with her. She was expected suddenly to be the leader of a movement that she had not chosen to be part of. Mm-hmm. Not opposed, but it wasn't her choice. And he said, I think we should be a little more generous with her. He said, I myself have chosen not to live with her. Mm-hmm. But he said, I don't choose to demean her in the way that's happening now with the public in South Africa. So he took up her cause, which I thought was very, if you kept watching what he did, he was always that way. When he was, the day he was inaugurated as the president, there were, more people than you can imagine, and than you could see. And he looked out across the crowd, and then about, from the stage of the amphitheater to the box where they do all the sound, mm-hmm. was the man who'd been his jailer. Mm-hmm. And he looked up and saw him, and he motioned to him, and he said, I invite you to come forward and sit with the family. Mm. And many people said that the beginning of the Truth and Reconciliation was right then, when he essentially said, though this man was my jailer, I see him as my family. I used to say, when all the conversations went on about family values, I said, this was a statement about family values. He essentially saw someone who was a total stranger to his blood family and accepted him in because of the closeness that had bonded them in those years that he was in prison. When Mandela came to Riverside Church, he came to thank the churches. He said, I first came to a church, and the reason I came first to a church is because that's where my help came from.